another exciting series as we have Oiling Boil. I already know I'm going to call that wrong in this game versus coRe and Elyona.
Yeah, we're going back to Himiyama to start off this series. Looks like we're going to have another Ottomans pick on first map. Ottomans HRE for Oiling Boil against Mongols and Ayyubids for coRe Elyona.
Yeah, so interesting game start. This is immediately like every time I see a series, I see a map, like I immediately I'm like, all right, what's the strategy? What's each civ gonna try to do? So like my thought is like Mongol tries to tower rush. Either player can actually go feudal or not feudal, dark age on the other side from Sass and Baltoon. You can have Ottomans go with their barracks or military school and barracks if they want even, or you can have HRE go with their own barracks. I think either one is fine. I think I'd lean into Ottomans doing it more than HRE. But we'll see. We don't even have much time to talk about this game as we're already hearing game sounds. We're ready to go in our second series of the day. Who do we have in store for us?
We're taking a look right now at Baltoon as the HRE in the blue, the southeast side here. The north and the east is Sass as the Ottomans, and there's the stone for that military school. So we are going to see some Dark Age spears coming in for Sass. Meanwhile, we've got coRe in the orange as the Mongols. Over there on the north side and to the south of him, his teammate Elyona as the Ayyubids. No barracks for the Ayyubids this time around. We saw it last time, but he's got the Mongols on his team. So
yeah,
not looking to make spears himself.
Yeah, my big question here, and we already have it confirmed by the resource map at the top, is Sass dropping a barracks right after the military school? And it is yes. He's going military school barracks. He's doubling down here. And this is great because now as coRe is going to get his free spears from the Uvu, stone that he's going to have to spend, Sass is slowly going to build up that number with the military school, have that pay off. And I love the early spear fights here because obviously, if coRe wins, it feels good. He gets the tower up. He takes advantage of whatever location he's trying to lock down. On the other side, if Sass wins the fight, he gets to go start burning that forward Uvu and take away a huge, huge important thing to the Mongol economy.
Yeah, for sure. We saw it in the last game. Just the delay that the Mongols have getting their stuff set up. It forced Mongols to be on the defensive here. The military school going to be a little slower to create spears, but he's got that barracks there as well, so he will have the numbers. Barracks down now for coRe, those initial spears in creation. And they are moving across the map as we speak, heading towards potentially looking for the Ottomans here, unless they cut south.
Sass will be behind at first with the numbers, but then we'll be able to catch up over time. Baltoon already dropping the chapel. Elyona already clicked up as well. We'll check and see that in a second. And now it's kind of the question for me is, what Baltoon's next steps are. Does he play feudal? It is the logistic wing. So we'll be able to heal up these spears during this fight. This is massive. But Baltoon can always support and just drop a range, go archers that are very, very quick moving, snipe down those potential healing units as well.
Yeah, all possibilities here, but now we've got the 3-on-3 spear fight. Reinforcements right behind. It looks after the first engagement that Sass may be ahead in health, but the Khan comes in, does a little damage with his bow and arrow, adding that movement speed, and it will force Sass back to his base.
Did you see that lunge from that one spear from a mile away? Oh. The Khan's so good, though, at just being able to snipe out the lower health spears, as we see here. That one spear is probably at 2 health. 1 health. There we go. It is dead. So first spear gets sniped out, slowly building up those numbers. Chapel close to finishing. Looking at the resources in the bank, Baltoon is prime timed, ready to drop a range right as he ages up if he wants.
Yeah, taking a look at that focus on wood, the 12 on wood, 2 on food. does seem to indicate a move to range. That Khan just being so annoying right outside of Sass's base. Pulling those spears back and forth, doing a little bit harassment, setting off those pings. Very obnoxious.
Needed a house first, and now there is the range. So will be more of this feudal age play. Meanwhile, Sass still hasn't gotten the gold to be able to age up. coRe gathering gold, gun to be able to drop his age up in just a little bit. Spears taking the fight. The camels look like they're starting to move across the map now, so that's the main reason coRe's fine with taking this fight, but you don't want to lose those low health spears. Loses one, two of them, about to be three. Three spears go down. Great fight by Sass right there. Has not lost any himself. coRe did not leave a lot of those. Like, those spears all could be full health spears now at this point, with the dervishes just now arriving.
Yeah, they're going to heal up what's left, but yeah, 3 of them going down. Great trade for Sass. It looks like they're going to move in for another engagement here. Dervishes doing what they do, getting the heals out onto those spears.
Sass just needs enough gold to age up. That's all he was going for. He just needed to stall enough gold to age up. And no, coRe's diving too far. He's going to lose spears again. Too much town center damage to be able to heal up. That's 3 spears he just lost for nothing. A little too far forward. Walls, really safe build here from Baltoon. He's starting to build up that archer number up to 4 and starting to move across. So Sass really, really did a great job relieving the pressure there. But Elyona all of a sudden is vaulting himself into castle.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Ibids just bring over the 2 dervishes, help heal up whatever's there. But there's no pressure on them. They know what's going on in the game so far. They can just be like, okay, I'm going to pivot now to castle because I've got the ability to. And almost there, has that 600 gold, just shy of the 1200. Should be any moment that they click up.
Yeah, Baltoon's starting to move across, has his archers, and still producing archers, doubling up there. And the key is, can you deny this gold that Elyona has? Because if Elyona's not only able to age up, but age up with a pretty big bank, enough for a couple camel lancers, then these archers become rather worthless in time. Growth Wing has already been clicked up. A ton more villagers going to allow them to have an eco advantage here in a little bit. Has the logistics already, so camels will be able to grab relics too.
Yeah, that's huge. You see Baltoon with his archers looking for an area of attack. Looking to sweep around the south side here and drop a ram. Really
Scouted out though by Elyona. Elyona scouts it out. Sass is coming to the look. I was about to say, Baltoon has to have spears here because camel lancers will come out so fast.
Needs a response to that. We do see the double production of the archers coming out now from coRe, coming in to reinforce. Looks like there will be that first major conflict outside of Elonia's base. See the military all coming down in on this spot here. Ram filled with archers coming out to take down an outpost.
Gold's denied from the time being. 3,400 gold in the bank, though. Archers stepping forward. Outpost is going to be denied. Woodline denied, though, is the key. Sass here with his spears. Berries denied as well. So just Elyona fully forced back into his town center, back and forth, back and forth. But the ram is left alone. It is now a free ram for the taking. Baltoon, though, kiting it on over to his archer mass. Archer mass has enough to one-shot the Vills, so has to be careful. Oh, just kidding.
Good play.
Not one-shot the Vills, 2-shot.
Good play, keeping that ram alive. Dragging those Vills, keeping them idle too, chasing it down all the way around, waiting for those archers to join in. But now we got a little skirmish between Sass and coRe.
Spears spotted out. Villagers starting to get pulled to burn the ram as well. houses haven't been built yet. So Elyona probably house right now. More and more villagers falling. Camel's just healing instead of grabbing relics too. This is such a good thing for Baltoon and Sass right now, except for the fact that coRe comes in with the archers in a perfect timing, hits Sass's spear line, and the spears just have to run. Can't do anything, but Sass had already made the transition. Sapahi on the way.
Look at that. First Sapai we've seen gonna target down coRe's archers. Able to get on there, start dealing damage. Baltoon's right there with archers of his own to start firing into coRe's mass here. That count is gonna whittle down. coRe's archers falling.
Perfect timing fight again. Baltoon and Sass, they're much more kind of on the same page, it feels like. They practice a lot, they've talked a lot, they're fighting together, they go all in together. Yes, Sass loses a couple spears, but in return they bait coRe into overstepping with his archer mass, and coRe's left with 5 archers after pushing forward. Camel Lancers coming in. Are there going to be enough spears here?
They're going to force a retreat. The time being, the spear is pretty far away, but you can see Baltoon still getting value from those archers. Still getting some more spears as we see a friendly gold mine outside of coRe's base.
Baltoon about to be able to age up next drop off of gold. They're going to clear the rest of these spears as they don't have move speed, and HRE archers do.
Those will get wiped up. You can see Camel Lancer just taking out a couple of archers that were left at home, and Regnance is coming down, and man, it's the way that this Regnance can be used, because those dervishes were so busy at home trying to keep those vills alive, not picking up the relics for themselves, leaving a bunch still on the map for Baltoon to stash away.
Yeah, I think Elyona was able to secure three potential. Yeah, 3 in the bank already, but there's no way he can secure the other 4. He's trying to grab that one, and you can see Baltoon Sass, they're already prepping for it. They know that's the most contested one. That's the hardest one for them to grab and the easiest one for Elyona and coRe to grab next. So that's the main focus. Keep the armies there. Grab that right as Baltoon ages up, and then the next 3 are going to be free for their taking.
Yeah, next 3 look like they're on their side.
As we say that.
coRe moving up.
Yeah, this one might actually get snagged on away. coRe's army is going to do a great job of securing this when Baltoon and Sass have their full army, but that means Elyona's base left unattended other than his Camel Lancers circling back. Sapahi going to be here to tank as a front line, at least tank up some of the damage. Spears arriving a little bit late. Burn the moss down.
Not able to get the damage in, but yeah, if they can, might be able to burn this moss down with the units that they have there, but they're going to push in, look for some more eco damage. You can see coRe set up, looking to snipe out little straggler reinforcements, but the archers into the berries. Elonia's going to have to run for the hills here. They are super exposed. coRe coming in now with archers of his own. But Sass is there with the Sapahi. They can't engage into this. It feels like Baltoon and Sass have their units a little far behind enemy lines right now as those camels and archers are closing in on them.
Baltoon's going to make a full army swap, I think. He did upgrade the archers, it looks like. So we'll be able to snipe down some of those Camel Lancers if they're in low numbers, which looks like they are right now. Not the greatest thing. coRe also still feudal age. Wololo coming in.
Yeah, those archers are staying alive. They are doing quite a bit of damage to those Camel Lancers.
This is the power of HRE movement speed too. coRe has not been able to close the gap until now. But Baltoon at this point, I think, just throwing them away. They've caused more than enough damage, more than enough idle time to pay off. And behind this, Baltoon should have 3 relics in his Regnance. Oh, just 2. There's the 3rd. So that is where HRE, if they got, 3 relics in their Regnant, just as valuable as the 4 from the other side, essentially from Elyona. Actually, more valuable.
Yeah. Great job from Team Oiling Boil to keep those dervishes busy, keep those relics on the map long enough that Baltoon could secure those. Now we do see coRe marching across, heading towards potentially Sass's base. Sass looking to age up with the Imperial Palace, cancels it. And maybe he knows that these units are coming. Maybe he's going to invest that into military. We'll see what's up. But those archers, those spears, right outside now, right at his door.
He needs to age up somewhere. He needs to go up. He has the resources for it. But no, you said it. He's making units instead. They need to just hold. So the biggest thing here to think about, Elyona and coRe, they both kind of are playing this super all-in-y. Elyona's a super timing sib with the U-bids, castle, no extra TCs yet. coRe Mongols with no trade, no second TC8 either. This is a full all-in right now. Baltoon coming over with his military just a little bit late. Sass taking the fight. There is a TC here to help. The Camel Lancers, doesn't seem like there are too many of them. There's a lot of supply here, and they are on top of the archers. Men-at-Arms able to tank up as well. I believe Baltoon and Sass have an easy hold here. Once they clear this military mass too, I am going to be scared for the side of coRe. Elyona, they're not going to have much to be able to defend their base. Really, really good pull on over here from Baltoon.
Absolutely, those Camel Lancers seem to just disappear off of the map, and now Sipahi in the mix on the archers to clear that out. I didn't think that hold was going to be that clean. I was thinking it was going to be a little scrappier, but Baltoon and Sass doing a good job, not letting Elyona or coRe get much value out of that at all, and now they're losing a lot of army here.
Yeah, they just don't really have anything that can effectively fight those heavy mace men-at-arms. Camel Lancers don't have the greatest raw stats. They're okay against their counter units, but if you're talking about fighting those heavy mace men-at-arms and you're not charging in from a long distance, you're just going to get absolutely demolished. Crossbows into the mix as well, sniping down the watch this Camel Lancer, one shot almost. And they're just absolutely worthless at this point. And archers can't deal with the men-at-arms, and Baltoon and Sass just kind of can aim move at this point.
Yeah, look at that comp, and we did see that Camel Lancer just lose all of its health. They are going to withdraw for a second to just regroup here before they make that push into coRe's base. You see Elyona did have the Sacred. It looks like that is being contested right now. Some Camel Lancers on the back here of coRe's base, chasing down a Sipahi and a Metter. Gonna catch that Metter out. Gonna continue giving chase. And yeah, that friendship mine, like, it's not gonna hold up much longer. Not much left in there. And Baltoon, it seems like, is massing outside of Elyona's base on the south.
Yeah, and not only the south, looks like he is bringing his other army from the north side, might be hitting from a few different spots, and it's only Camel Lancers from Elyona, and Baltoon has the perfect army comp to fight it. Crossbow and the heavy mace men-at-arms. There's just a few villagers on those berries. Just a few. Oh my gosh. How many villagers are running right here? The woodline didn't run though. I mean, that's like 40, 50 vills. That's his whole entire economy. And again, he can just A-move this fight because he has all of the counter units. Still would want the men-at-arms to be the front line. Villagers trying to come back, but all of the reinforcements are coming from Baltoon.
Yeah, look at that from the north side now. Crossbows, couple of men-at-arms. Do see coRe trying to get up with the Kurultai. The Istanbul Imperial Palace finally in production for Sass. Camel Lancers, though, able, it looks like, to get on the crossbows.
Yeah, army was a little too split there from Baltoon. The crossbows on the backside didn't arrive in time. The first military was already cleaned up. Able to take down a few Camel Lancers, but still really good trade. The big key here is Elyona not going to be making a lot of military during this time because of how idled he is during all of this. And there's even a few spears into the mix now, and this is where this becomes even easier for Baltoon now. He's making the correct army composition swaps, and Elyona is just playing the I'm making Camel Lancers and only Camel Lancers and making it very easy for Baltoon.
Yeah, another good engagement there. You see Elyona starting to retreat. Those vills once again pulled off the berries, heading towards safety. Baltoon establishing himself on the south side of the Ayyubid's base. Meanwhile, we do see Sass building a large wall, trying to secure himself. Resources there. Big Dipper wall formation.
I
Baltoon
really
looking
want Baltoon to
pretty.
just burn that tower. I don't know, like it's providing a lot of vision and information consistently, and he does have to back away now because of core. But he could have burnt that tower like a year ago on that gold vein that Elyona was at. Good raids by Sass again from the Sipahi. Able to pick off a few more villagers. Also confirms that trade isn't online. You know, there's no crazy economy. So all these picks that are happening, again, Core and Elyona are very all-in with their civs and the play style that they're having right now.
Yeah, and Baltoon and Sass continuing to just pick up value wherever they can. Another push into Elonia's base here. And we do see the Kurultai getting set up. Try to help out those Ayubid archers. Gonna give them healing anyway. A lot of spears in the mix, so they'll run, they'll kite as best as they can. Baltoon can't commit to continue attacking there. Meanwhile, Sass has this Sipahi running around the map, looking for the Mongolian pocket eco, putting pressure anywhere he can.
I mean, Baltoon almost is at the point where he can take this fight, actually. That's the crazy part, is like once that little back mass that he has, once that groups up together, he kind of has enough units to fight that.
Well, let's see where he wants to send them. Still, now they're hanging out outside of his base. More walls coming down. Really looking to defend the oiling boil side.
Finally, we see the eco investment though from Elyona. It's the double TC on the backside. Woodline just got dropped, so he's up to 3 TCs. And Baltoon is just all in the military at this point. So it's going to be more food going to Elyona's TCs. Still no farm transition. We saw how many villagers were on those berries. He was running all over the place. Now those villagers are going to be mid-map on the deer. This is not a great situation for the Ayubids. They can get punished very, very hard. Essentially get to the point where it's going to be struggling to produce out of the TCs and produce military. And it does look like that is exactly where the military masses are kind of leaning towards right now.
You can see that deer pack under pressure right now. We got Sass and Baltoon together moving in. coRe is here for some defense, establishing that Kurultai. Like we've seen all game, those Ayubid villagers running away, running to safety, getting out of this area. But this fight just looks like it's being dominated by oil and boil here.
Look at it's just pure numbers. Baltoon has 80 units out on the field. Elyona and coRe have 38. It's just he just has too much. He's even got the prelates here to help and heal, and the whole entire mass of coRe Elyona just gets absolutely wiped. 115 units still out on the field for Baltoon and Sass. It's a Mongol TC too. We all know how easy those are to take down. coRe doesn't even want that to happen. He says, I'll take it down myself. Game 1 going over to Oiling Boil.
Very good game for sure. Just that last stand, all of those military units just melting away. It was complete dominance in that final fight there. We can see on the Vil graph, Elyona trying to get back in there with 3 TCs, taking losses throughout the game, trying to get back up there by the end of the game, but just no safe food. It needed to spread out. It was rough.
Yeah, I mean, that was just, you can kind of tell that Sass and Baltoon have been playing a lot of practice games together on the same page. They were really kind of cohesive with their movements and their back and forths. You know, didn't really take many fights on their own except for winning fights. And look at coRe's archer mass in that middle of the point. It just he felt great. He's peaking, you know, at the point, has a lot of military units. The problem is that there's also an age up unit that counters your whole entire mass that the other side had. There were still that front line of Sipahi as well from Sassy.
Yeah, just cleared out pretty quick. And then you can see the rest of the Mongols right at the end. that second dip there. Taking a look at the replays now. Did see really nice tactics here by Baltoon and Sass to come around, get the Sapai on the archers, then have Baltoon's faster archers in the mix as well, help clean that up. That's where he lost the majority of those archers. That engagement right there.
Yeah, it felt like a good pick at first, and then this is where they're diving Sass. Sass was about to go castle. You can see the resources, and he was actually up at 1,700 food. Decided not to go castle, make more units, and this is where Baltoon he's just got units that perfectly counter the whole entire mass. We not only have a TC, we have an outpost firing as well, and then it's a bunch of archers under TC outpost fire and Sipahi chasing them down. Not a fun positioning point there for coRe.
Yeah, I mean, Elyona did have a couple of camel lancers into the mix, but right after that engagement started, they seemed to just be taken out almost immediately, leaving those archers vulnerable. And now we take a look at the giant mass of vills on the berries here, running away. Baltoon putting pressure onto that wood line.
Yeah, this is where Elyona has like the numbers here. Baltoon's army is a little too split, so fights went well, but there's still a lot of villagers throughout this that went down and that got idled. Crossbows come up from the backside, and it's also not like it was a full clean sweep wipe. Like there's still a lot of camel lancer dead bodies on the ground there. Here come the crossbows again, kiting, and just a fun back and forth for game number one, but still pretty clean there from Oiling Boil.
Yeah, for sure. Now moving into game number two, I'm excited to see Bald land. Pretty open map here. We got Byzantines and the Rus for Oiling Boil, Delhi and English for coRe and Elyona.
Let's see if we see any cheese from the English. This is quite an odd map when it comes to some resource generations. I know it's been updated quite a time or two, I think, since I've seen it last, so I'm sure it's probably not quite as crazy as some of the spawns I've seen, but there's still some spawns that English probably can take advantage of very heavily, whether it's villagers with a tower or just longbows with a scout positioning that can really deny some forward resources. That being said, Byzantines and Rus both very potential safe civilizations. Rus having the potential for the Kremlin still.
Yep. Helping out that wood production because there really isn't a lot of wood near those initial TCs. It's like little prairie packs of wood lines, really forcing both teams to move out to the center to get any sort of resources. You can see surrounding the map, there are little cliffs. Allows you a little assistance in walling off your side of the map if need be. But for the most part, this is a very open map, and it's likely to get very scrappy here.
Yeah, and you can tell with the civs for it too. It's just all these civs are great in the feudal age, can all perform very, very well. Get a little bit of some team highlights here. We see coRe and Elyona. No pick of Chuck Francis. And both I would say all active members of the community. Everyone pretty familiar with all these players, if not, well, mainly coRe and Elyona, probably Chuck Francis too as well, if you've been playing ladder, playing some team games and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely recognizable. We've got Oiling Boil here, Sass and Baltoon, Bella rounding out the team.
Logo made by Bella. Big shout out there. I mean, honestly, compared to all the other logos, killing it. They're all streamers as well. I would say Baltoon doesn't stream as much as the other two, but even still, definitely go check them out. And first day qualifiers as well, high seeds because of their ladder games. But enough of the team highlights. Let's check in on the teams in the game number 2.
Here we are in the Bald Lands. We got the camera now focused on Sass in the teal as the Byzantines. Very close by to him is Baltoon in the blue as Rus. See how close those two bases are to each other. Other side, we got Elyona as the Delhi in the red, and coRe in the orange as the English.
And this is where we're talking about those wood lines. Like, at least coRe and Elyona have a few back wood lines. Baltoon and Sass, every single one of their wood lines is forward, other than a couple stealth force on the backside. So, if there was some sort of random shenanigans, forward outpost rush, and English villagers just start taking a wood line, proxy council hall, whatever like that, it could be very hard to kind of get things going. Because remember, wood is the vital thing for feudal age anything. You need production. A lot of players like archers, and it also is a resource for spears and horsemen too.
Yeah, it's absolutely vital in the feudal. Can't do much without it, without being able to drop those production buildings. It's certainly going to be a battle over that. Yeah, it's no backwood, very difficult. But that's why I was saying this looks like it get really scrappy in the feudal age, fighting just to have those resources available to them.
Baltoon starting to get close to the feudal age as well as Sass. Same thing with coRe. I mean, I'm assuming a map like this, you go Council Hall and you go Longbows, but you never know with some of these high elo players. They always have their own ways to play the game, the things that they like to lean into more than others. Grand Winery being dropped, and it is the Abbey being dropped as well. I will say the Abbey gets some extra usage in team games. We know how good healing is in high elo, where you can micro units back and just come back to full health.
Yeah, it's like generating free units almost. So Baltoon is going to choose the Golden Gate, his landmark of choice. Seen a lot of that recently. Not as many games with the Kremlin we've seen so far in the tournament from our Rus players. Could see them maybe trying to be more defensive with the Kremlin on this map, but I don't know. Golden Gate just seems to allow so many different strategies from the Rus. I mean, really enabling that fast castle, but the ability to exchange resources and get them for free, resources that you choose actively from the Golden Gate, is huge.
Yep. It is one landmark that I feel like some players have always loved, even when the Kremlin was in its dominant phase. Dome of the Faith, we finally get to see, as it is still talked about being the OP landmark, but we saw Tower of Victory earlier. And once Feudal Age comes, this is really when the game's going to start to open up. We're going to see if some of these players are going to go play Feudal Age, or a lot of times when you see Golden Gate, it might be for a potential Castle Age play. Although Sass might go with the... It's funny, we see in chat, everyone's like, oh, is it Gulp? Is it Gulp? Jiggly build incoming? I feel like Sass is the player to play more of the normal game, go with some Limitane, go with some longbows, and just play his own game, and then maybe let Baltoon go up to castle with the Golden Gate, go horse archer, or go with some knights.
Well, we do see it looks like we got a stable coming down for Baltoon, so we'll have some knights in the feudal age for him. We'll see what that opens up, what that will allow Sass to do, whether or not Sass is going to go for some feudal army himself, or what his plan is going to be.
Making sure deer don't get pushed in on the other side. And we saw some deer pushing on the side of Baltoon and Sass, though.
Deer fairly close to the TC, kind of out there.
Now
not right next
out.
door, but we do see, coRe just pushing that away.
It's always so awkward when that happens, and it's like 7 deer spread all out, and you're like, do I drop multiple mills? Do I even go for this? Do I go, pro scouts now? Like, I don't like. It's so awkward, especially with how far some of these pros can get deer spread apart from each other with like the most minimal micro. It feels like
it is a very annoying, almost passive aggressive tactic to just disrupt those deer packs like that.
So we have Baltoon going knights. Do we think that Sass is going to go Keshiks into Cataphracts with Baltoon going knights?
I don't know about that. We do see the mercenary house finishing up. We do see the knight charging in onto the Byzantines. Charge going
I was
off.
about to say, I'm surprised we don't see a little bit of activation. There are a lot of villagers, and King quickly goes down to half health, causes a good bit of idle time, and half health, like a quarter health now. Scout, though, will get taken out. It is Roos, though. That's one of, what, 3 scouts probably?
Yeah.
Maybe 2? No, yeah, that was 1 of 2 scouts. He's still got another. No big deal there.
King taking so much damage from the Akratoid defense. Not able to pick up a Vil kill, and now pretty injured. Might have to wait just a little bit before he wants to reactivate and put more pressure on some of the Oiling Boils villagers here.
Oh my gosh.
You see a Vil coming out?
It's going to be Gulp. It's Keshix, and Sass is going up to castle based off of his resources.
Yeah, look at that. Okay, so we got Roos Knights, we got Gulping Byzantine Cataphracts. We'll see what Elyona and coRe can do in the meantime. It's going to take a little bit for that plan to come to fruition. We can see Ghazi Raiders, those numbers starting to add up. Middle of the map, outside of the Byzantines, looking for some sort of raid here.
I'm scared for Sass, as he has a big army knocking on his doorstep. It's not just Ghazis, it's not just longbows, it's not just spears, it's also the king there with it. I mean, it is everything. Baltoon really needs to relieve some pressure with his knights, and relieve some pressure he did. There's 3 villagers there, and he'll probably start to kill some more reinforcing units. Try to take out some of the Ghazis as they come, maybe take out some of the longbows, but that's where the Ghazis fight really well grouped together. They can actually pick off knights themselves.
Yeah, doing a good job of taking care of that reinforcement, but those knights from Baltoon gonna force Elyona to pick a different wood line here. Engagement, I don't think much is happening outside of Sass's base. I don't think Elyona and coRe have been able to do that much. Now Sass is able to get some Keshik onto the field.
Well, we saw the full Ghazi mass get pulled back because of that raid. We see it now in the Ghazi Falls. The whole entire Ghazi mass pulled back instead of going in like it looked like they were going to do. It's not the Gulp build, though. It's just the Golden Horn. Wanted to go with Keshix as the Merc contract, though. And we talked about those knights relieving pressure, and that's exactly what they were able to do. All of a sudden, Sass is dropping his Castle Age landmark with no army knocking at his doorstep, with nothing to worry about.
Everybody's been pulled away. Yeah, now they're gathering outside of the Roos base. Golden Horn Tower just about halfway up. You do see those initial plays for the sacred sites. Elyona able to confirm those 2 right now. Get that timer started. But these spears kind of alone.
Yeah. And this is where, I mean, players are so good at taking these fights when they know they can win it. It's like, yeah, it's a counter unit, but I have way more unit mass than you, so I'm just going to take it. Lost 1 or 2 knights, but kills 10 spears.
And that feels like kind of a big loss there. I know the army numbers are still in Elyona and coRe's favor by far, but you just threw away 6 spears for really nothing, and you know the opposing team is just going what seems to be a full Cav comp right now.
Yeah, and the Keshik now are able to come in, support Baltoon, and all of a sudden Baltoon's going to be able to pull back with this Night Mass and either go up to Castle or just continue on, and they're just going to go with the good old Cataphracts and Keshiks, but without some gulping.
Yeah, they will stay thirsty as the military clashes in the center here. Looks like Elyona and coRe now on the back foot. Those archers are so exposed. Ghazi Raiders trying to get some sort of value on these damaged knights.
This is over.
Off a little bit, but yeah.
Like, coRe and Elyona are now stuck in Feudal. Elyona looks like he's starting to try to build up to Castle Age, but Cataphracts are about to start coming, and you need like 4 spears per Cataphract. I guess there's no gulp for Sass, so that's the key here. But you need about 4 spears per Cataphract, and they just killed like the whole entire masses. Baltoon's continuing to thin out that spear number and take good fights here.
Yeah, look at that micro again, able to pull off one of those really injured knights a second before that spear would have got it. Keeping that army alive. Now trying to revert those sacred sites. Elonian core don't have much in the way of anything. Elonia's close to the
Berries of
castle.
Elyona. Uh-oh. More raids coming in. Good block off with the pathing. Able to get a few more hits in. It takes down 3 more villagers of Elyona. Elyona's sitting at 30 vills right now. He has pro scouts, but also is so food needy. He's having to take some of those pocket resources. Is on the other back berries with the Keshik still roaming.
Yeah, and you could see, like, taking a look at
Oh,
Elonia's
no, hit the
resources.
deer.
Oh no! Oh no! Elonia was so close to castle for a while, but had to just keep spending that food to create more units to do something to defend here. Still continuing to lose vills, and now Baltoon dropping down the high trade house.
I wanted it to be on one of the middle wood lines.
Right in that little pocket, yeah.
Come on now, get it tucked in there. Do something for the viewers. But it's with that many Gazis, that'd be so risky. You'd have to pull your whole military mass back and play it safe. And they're doing so much damage with these roams right now, with those Keshiks roaming. And Baltoon now has his knights in the base to follow up as well. So it's so hard for coRe and Elyona to not pay attention to where these units are tracking, and they can just keep splitting them up into different groups.
Yeah, look at that. Those pro scouts taking the heat from the Keshiks. Keshiks still can basically do whatever they want in the back of coRe's base. We do see some Gazis maybe coming over, but we got knights threatening as well.
The Keshik at this point are great because first they're castle age, so they're a little bit tankier than the typical, feudal age Keshiks that you see. And then they're also able to heal up at this point off of a lot of easy things. There's a lot of gates, there's a lot of random mills, there's a lot of unit scouts that they're hitting. A scholar gets taken down and some villagers there to follow. There's another raid coming in the north side as well. I mean, there's just raids all over the place. Villagers falling everywhere. And now it's not Elyona's side. It's coRe losing villagers. And yes, that's English getting dove. They don't care at this point. They might not have the unit number, unit count. They have the unit quality.
Yeah, and they're absolutely keeping that pressure up. You did see all those spears from coRe like moving in from the middle back to the base. I don't know why they were out on the map earlier on. Could have maybe used them at home to defend. We do see the Gazis trying to take down those raiding Keshik and knights. They're gonna mix it up a bit, and you can see just the unit control there. You pick off a couple of Gazi raiders, keep them by themselves. Take those fights, heal up, and don't lose anything of your own.
There's so many spears here now from coRe, though. He's got 30 spears splitting out and about. But this is all of the military from coRe and Elyona now just to deal with that cav mass. And the Vil lead is built up quite a bit now. The eco lead has, and I'm sure the relics at this point are very, very favored for Baltoon and Sass. That's just my guess. Second TC's even been dropped behind this from Baltoon. Yeah, there's 3 relics in the winery. I'm surprised they don't have more relics.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at the map. I don't see relics down anywhere.
It must have been the deli moss. That is the power of the deli. Could have swiped up the relics. Really, yeah. There's the power of the deli.
coRe is leaning into the king's palace for his age up.
There's I was wondering where the cataphracts have been this whole time. But now I feel like they shouldn't move out when they're by themselves. Like, I feel like this was the first time we saw Baltoon and Sass kind of just throw away units, but I felt like it was for raiding. I don't know why there weren't a couple cataphracts in there doing a ton more damage.
Yeah, I'm not sure where they were the entire time. It was like 2 Keshik in the back, certainly causing a lot of damage, but no cataphracts for support. Looks like they might start to be massing right outside of their own base. I do see, looks like a bunch of teal dots, and
they're going Gulam crossbow. You can see the composition swap. Baltoon's massing crossbows. And Sass is
There's an elephant
massing
production.
Ghulams. And it's, yeah, I mean, they were all Cavs, so Elyona and coRe are like, yeah, we need the counter Cav, you know? Let's go spear crossbow, let's go Ghazi still, and let's go with, you know, those elephants. And Baltoon and Sass are now the ones making the swap.
They have really denied those cataphracts from doing anything. coRe doing a good job bringing in some spears.
Oh, one gets
them
picked
off.
off.
Nice
Great
round.
job by coRe. This is where Baltoon and Sass, though, they're fine with just chilling. The relic counts even, but English is 1 TC, which is very, very underwhelming, and all spears and in a team game. That's super underwhelming. Meanwhile, Elyona is a deli that is just now getting back on the sacred sites, and Baltoon's Roost 2 TC. Sass is probably a nice old oil groved up Byzantines.
Will be tricky. I think unless coRe switched, he might have gone up with a King's Palace. So there is a little bit of eco help there. English. But yeah, Elyona and coRe been on the back foot for mostly the entire game. Just starting to stabilize now, but yeah, Baltoon and Sass certainly have their own economic advantages at home as a scholar gets caught out in the middle of the map.
And they're just massing up together. It looks like Baltoon Sass might be going for this timing push. coRe and Elyona still have a lot of military numbers just from earlier. coRe had so many spears, and they were just kind of chasing Cav around the whole time and never really... I mean, they got some connections there at the end, but for a while they weren't doing too much, so kept that number built up high for a while and just continued to transition that into castle.
Yeah, it did seem like for a while that blob of spears kind of in no man's land, not doing much, but was able to engage at some point. And like you're saying, very important that they didn't actually die. So they're still available to be used against seeming like a pretty heavy Cav-centered composition here. Keep drop coming down for Baltoon. Gonna secure that gold. A little skirmish here on that sacred site.
Also helps secure that wood line. And the wood lines are really the key when it comes to start being in this transition into this mid game. If you don't secure one of those massive wood lines for your team, or you start getting denied from a keep all of a sudden from chopping through when you thought you had one secured, it gets really scary. And Baltoon's making sure that he's got that side for themselves.
Not a lot of wood on the map besides those two big spots in the middle. Cataphracts being run back into the base, going close to the keep, trying to bait out those Ghazis to come closer. Elephants in the mix here. Baltoon and Sass maybe looking to push out now. coRe's blob is not near Elyona's.
It's running the other way.
We'll see if they meet up. A bunch of men-at-arms for Sass. Looks like right outside of his base.
Looks like coRe's making the move now, though, trying to collapse on the army, and the Ghulams aren't there. Sass has been massing them, but they've just been chilling. Crossbows, spears moving on forward, starting to go under the keep fire and just tanking it on up. It is just one keep, though, and they have 135 units. Sass running on here with the Ghulams. They want to take this fight. It's a good spot to take the fight. Cataphracts are watching, about to do a nice trample through, I'm sure. Watch for the trample. Units are so together. Crossbows onto the backside. The elephants are starting to get focused down, though.
Yeah, there they go. There's two down. There's one left, and it's just dying under a hail of crossbows. coRe and Elyona's army looking like they're getting swept up here. Those spears that were the bulk of coRe's army look like they melted pretty soon. You see the last few remaining on the south side of that keep. Elyona's still trying to push in. Those crossbows, though, doing quite a bit of damage. Ghazis and Knights. Oh man, this fight has gone on for a long time under that keep.
Yeah, Sass backed on away for a second, and all of a sudden his cataphracts and gulams weren't attacking. Left Baltoon's crossbows over kind of by themselves, but overall fight went in the favor, I think. I think overall, at the end, numbers are in the favor of coRe Elyona, but I think they already started that fight with like 35 plus units and like 3 or 4 elephants. So I think that still goes better for Baltoon Sass.
Yeah, does seem like in the amount of destroyed army value in that fight, Elyona and coRe losing more with those expensive elephants going down. Baltoon and Sass, I mean, there were still some cataphract deaths on the other side. We're getting to the point in this map where the walls are coming out. Teams staking their claims.
And the cool thing about this one here is like we were talking about the wood lines again. Look at where the wood lines are for Sass and Baltoon and the walls compared to like to coRe and Elyona. It's very, very defensive for coRe and Elyona. They haven't really secured up the forward wood lines. Meanwhile, Baltoons and Sass are kind of very aggressive walls. They're much more forward. They're taking a lot more of the map for themselves. They kind of have like 3/4 of the map compared to 1/4 for the other side.
Yeah, it does look like Elyona and coRe just kind of in that corner for the time being. Another little push on the Byzantines' base, able to get a cataphract with those crossbow shots. Waiting for the rest of the army to join them. It's like we're going to see an outpost in the stealth force provide that network of castles bonus vision as well.
Constant thing this game has been Baltoon and Sass has a little more eco, Elyona coRe, a little bit more military number, a little bit more military mass. But the eco thing might get a lot worse here because I see a trader now starting to pop out. Fight going down, though. There's a lot of elephants knocking on the doorstep. I am somewhat worried for Baltoon Sass. Another TC has come down for Sass.
All right, well, where are those elephants? Okay, finally looking for a spot. They were busy knocking down a wall. Not committing to the engagement here. Those spears having to run around. Meanwhile, the elephant looking to take on those gulams.
Great brace by the spears.
Look at that.
Ghazi's taking the dive, though. Baltoon trying to fight here in a choke point, but it is a huge, huge mass. Elephant there to play as well. Villager starting to die. Sass running around his TC, trying to circle back, utilize that pathing. The slow elephants and take a winning fight for themselves in this defensive side. His olive grove starting to get taken down. Crossbows on the backside. It's crossbow v crossbows. Is there going to be enough here from Baltoon and Sass to hold this?
Yeah, and while all of this is going on, there's just so much like villager death. Like Sass has lost quite a bit. Those Ghazi raiders coming through the olive groves. Those vills that ran to the wood line that were just cut down. You can see in the vill counts, Sass down to 60 at this point. Pretty decent push there. They are forced back.
Oh, and it might get cut down a little bit further as there's more vills on that backside you were talking about. Sass was at 60. And let's see how much of a loss there will be. He's running towards Baltoon. He's like, help me, teammate. And there's spears there. Arriving just in time. Shouldn't be any more deaths. Maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah, there's one more, maybe a second.
Oh, no. Baltoon jumps inside instead of Sass.
Well, the rest of those villagers get out of there. A few more losses for Sass. You see elephants looking to make their move, coming around the northeast side of the Byzantines' base. It looks like there's an exposed villager on those berries out there.
And coRe is starting to build rams. coRe and Elyona want to finish this, but Baltoon and Sass, we talked about it, they just want to hold. They're playing this more eco right now. They're building trade. They've walled up the trade. Not 1, not 2, but 3 walls over there. And trade is about to start booming as we saw triple market. So again, Baltoon and Sass, they say, just give it time. Give it time. Give it time. We just need to hold these pushes.
Yeah, and Elyona and coRe not moving in quite yet. Armies regrouping, getting those rams onto the field. You can see Elyona and coRe able to get that map control, able to take that large gold in the middle. You can see them, looks like they're starting to work on that wood line to the north. And now archers moving in, picking off potentially a few more vills.
Sass, though, starting to catch up in that eco count with the trade and the 2 TCs. Baltoon trying to get a quick wall down. Not going to be fast enough. Good reaction there from the Gazis. This time, though, the military numbers are looking a little bit closer to even. Fighting towards that mid-map where the keep is this time, too, instead of under the economy. So reinforcements can still continue to come in. Not as much eco will be idled.
We'll see where this
and a wooden fortress.
Is. And it will
a
be
full
under the
keep and a full wooden fortress. Spears, gulams, everything starting to go on in. Elephant starting to be focused down and focused down quick. There were a ton at the start of this fight. You're already starting to see 2, 3, 4 fall.
Starting to melt away. Cataphracts doing a good job on the backside, preventing those Ghazi raiders from getting into the crossbows. Doing a good job of delaying them out. Great positioning there.
Now going to be able to replace, be that front line. Gulam still alive, stepping on up too. And the whole entire front line from coRe and Elyona is almost dead, and they are under the fire of the keeps. Great trample by Sass right through the ranged mass of coRe, and able to just A-move right after that.
Ooh.
Another trample follow-up from the other cataphracts, and all of a sudden the military numbers flip upside down. Boiling oil, oiling boil takes a great fight there. Crossbows continuing to just A-move forward and forward. coRe even brought villagers forward to try to get the network of castle expansion. Immediately he's going to get taken out, and this is looking bad. Great defense there from Oiling Boil.
Yeah, very well played. Man, those cataphracts on the back to provide defensive support, keep those Ghazi raiders out of the crossbows, and then once those Ghazis were no longer an issue, coming forward with the gulams, and then cutting off that retreat with a couple of really, really beautiful tramples. Elyona and coRe in a lot of trouble here as the military is starting to bear down on their bases.
Yep, forward gold no longer secure. That wood line is what I am most scared about. Pretty sure I saw a few units split off into that middle wood line coRe's on. The whole entire army is gone, and oh no! Oh, that is what I am worried about. coRe's gonna look on over and just know it's game over. Trying to chop through the other woodline. Villagers are still falling.
No.
Their outpost is gonna go there. Yep, there it is. He probably looked over and said, all right,
He
it's
noticed.
over.
Yeah, he saw all the dead vills under those cataphracts. Man, Baltoon, Oiling Boil, Baltoon and Sass able to hold on there. Had some good raids in the middle from Elyona and coRe. Elyona and coRe actually did a pretty good job of holding on in the mid game. Stabilized, started to come back. We're looking pretty strong, but that last battle underneath the keep, just thinning out the entire military. That was it.
Yeah, it was so funny. It was like Elyona and Sass were both like, all right, you build the front lines. Baltoon and coRe were both like, all right, we're going to have the massive crossbow mass. And you can see that on the graph as well. But all of a sudden, once the front line gets cleared, that's when the crossbow mass drops, and drops super quick. And once that mass is gone, you can't rebuild 100 units in the blink of an eye. Even if you have the resources to do it, you need a lot of production. You need a lot more time. And this was pretty early on. And, in this longer game, I would say it's, we weren't even at imp yet.
Yeah. Just completely wiped out. We'll take a look at the replay right now. Did see those knights engaging into the Ghazi raiders by Elyona. Just couldn't hold here. Those knights, now Keshic coming in to help as well. That king eventually going down. I mean, both sides losing units here, but I remember this fight, and Oiling Boil came out ahead at the end of this one.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like this one was the first big, again, tilting one where coRe and Elyona had a lot more units, but it just wasn't the right unit composition. And then the next times, all the fights they were forcing these dives under keeps, under town centers, things like that. So it just slowly eats up and slowly adds in and makes this difference here. This is the one where, didn't quite get the craziest cataphract trample, still got a pretty solid one, but a lot of the front line's still alive, and it was just enough to hold for longer. Hold for longer. Sass and Baltoon had the better eco.
Yeah, buying time, letting that economy really start paying off. Elyona was doing a pretty good job of having a few Ghazi Raiders in the back of Sass's economy every now and then, picking off a few vills. But man, so hard to take that fight under the keep.
Yeah. And we'll see a few more fights, not only under that keep here, where we'll see the ones under the TCs, the Mangonel outposts as well. coRe does get network of castles here, starting to get it expanded on out, which is super crucial for the English. But Baltoon just does a great job falling back, fighting in the choke points, sacrificing some assassins villagers. Um, but fighting in these choke points and just waiting. You can see the elephants had this slow pathing around, and then Sass gets to kind of circle back and get these defensive fights. They know if they hold, their ecos should be in this better point. Trades being set up. They're playing this long game.
Yeah, and they were able to hold on long enough, and this is the battle that really decided it. You can see the cataphracts in the back, not coming to the front line just yet. Got some Gulams there, and the Ghazi Raiders coming around the back, called out by the cataphracts. They're doing such a good job at blocking here,
A
keeping
few
those
spears
crossbows
circle
alive.
too. Couple of the spears circle back too. Ghazi's just not able to close. The elephants are still alive for a little bit of time. A few more came in, but look at how many cataphracts there are comparative to elephants. Those cataphracts, those are tanky boys. Not might not be elephant tanky, but they are tanky still.
Yeah, absolutely. And then elephants go down. Now that crossbows can just focus on those, and I think we're going to see those cataphracts just prevent the retreat of coRe. Some beautiful tramples in there. Look at that. Able to just clean all of that up, prevent those crossbows from making a clean retreat here. Cataphracts doing damage, and yeah, at
After
that
that,
point,
it's all
coRe
but over.
lost everything. Well, we're going to Coastal Cliffs next game.
Coastal Cliffs. This is a map we know. This is a map we love. It's we've seen it plenty of times, whether it's Coastal Cliffs, whether it's Rockies. It's that more condensed dry Arabia is just the easiest way to summarize it. And the civs that we see exactly, make sense for that exact thing.
Yeah, looking like we might have another really scrappy feudal here. The French and the Delhi versus Rus and Zushi. We saw some good spots for meditation gardens on the other Coastal Cliffs map. We'll see how that resource generation really helps out potentially coRe and Elyona on this one, if we see those bunched resources again.
Yeah, I mean, what was it? The triple gold vein that we saw in this map, but then there were a couple other spots if it had been the other side that were even better than the triple gold vein, and that was even worth walking. Taking the trek for in Corvinus's eyes.
Yeah, the long march to your teammate's base just to get that meditation gardens up. It was a good one. But yeah, I think this is the first time we actually get to see French today. They were sniped out the previous two matches for Baltoon and Sass, not able to take them.
Yeah,
But
unless you call
now,
JD French, but obviously that's the French variant, but we did see that earlier at least.
we did. But now we got that pure French coming in, and they'll be with the Delhi. Very likely going to see just very scrappy feudal here.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the last time with the Delhi on this map, they're able to push up, and if they're infantry, super infantry based, they can put those walls down super quickly and take so much control, allow a lot of safe resources behind that. It is a decent bit of investment though. Saves a lot of villager time. But all that being said, I think we are now getting into this third game, potential game decider here. We'll see if Oiling Boyle can keep up the pace and continue what they've been working with.
Yeah, let's get right into it. We're opening up, taking a look at Baltoon as the French in blue, north side of the map, right on next to Sass in the teal as the Delhi. And then there on the south, we got Elyona in the red as the Rus, right next door to coRe as the orange Zushi Legacy.
Yep. And now we immediately think of where are the meditation garden spots. Nothing again, nothing too
Nothing crazy.
crazy. Maybe on Baltoon's side, we could see one with the double gold, double berries in the wood line. You might even, yeah, I think you could get a solid one right there. But you know, I don't think we're
A
gonna see a
little risky.
proxy. I don't think we're if I mean, we're talking about maybe if only the spawns had swapped, he'd be happy
Yeah,
about that.
yeah. Yeah, a bunch of resources there. Yeah, it's certainly going to be more of a balanced meditation gardens wherever he does choose that. Taking a look, French, happy to have their gold in the back for sure.
But the question now will be which feudal age landmarks will the Delhi go and will the Rus go? Golden Gate or Kremlin, or will we see the Tower Victory, the Dome? I think, it's a map that Dome or Tower Victory could either one be justified. In this current meta, I am a Dome of the Faith enjoyer.
Yeah, it really just does have that huge power spike once you do make that transition into castle. Having the scholars to get those texts researched faster, and then also able to maybe secure some relics and provide healing to your mass with just all those scholars you get. Tower of Victory helping you out with big feudal archer balls from the Delhi. We'll see if they want to go that route. We'll know for soon, though, as Sass is just getting enough resources, and it is going to be Dome. Elyona going to have the Golden Gate, and I mean, there was no question that Baltoon would drop the School of Cav.
Yeah, not really any good neutral markets to trade to on this map. The one that there is just dead center and right close to him. So he'd probably have like a nice 17 gold trade route if he dropped the chamber. I mean, he could go to the other corner, but very very risky trade route at that point.
We do
Just a
see,
nice and safe meditation gardens.
nothing wild. Got your berries, got your gold. Not writing home about it though.
I'm wondering if Baltoon already went with the early wheelbarrow build. I think he did, if I had to guess. Yeah, he did. So, this is one of those, he gets it right off the bat at the very start of the game. And with French having the cheaper techs, it's super worth it. Doesn't really lose that early night timing with the way it works.
Yeah, able to get that pressure out there. It's those cheaper techs. It really allowing French to get wheelbarrow early. It's such a nice bonus to them for their eco with their faster vills. It all works together very well.
But feudal age landmarks are coming down. And I will say there have been so many games with French in it that get decided rather early. And French looks like an unbeatable civ. And then there are so many games where French seems like a pretty worthless civ. So we'll see. We'll see what this one will turn out to be. With these players, I don't think we'll see too many knights thrown away for no good reason.
It does seem a little feast or famine with the French. If you're able to get that pressure on, keep those knights alive, start whittling down their vills, starting that snowball, they're brutal to play against. But if you take good fights, prevent the French from getting any value out of those knights, maybe sniping one or two, puts them in a pretty bad situation because that's a lot of investment. You see that first Royal Knight though. charging across the map, heading towards, it looks like, the roost base here.
Yeah, and it's not being tracked either. coRe a little distracted. He's making sure those deer didn't get pushed in, aren't, in a nice, easy gathering point, which wouldn't be too surprised to see Baltoon go for a Pro Scouts build or Sass go for a Pro Scouts build later on, just because they both are civs that can do it very, very easily, and it's super worth it. Especially on this map, you can steal a lot of deer from your opponent, and that's double valuable when you're playing against a roost.
Yeah, you get to deny that bounty if you're able to prevent the roost from going on that. Do you see Baltoon's scout under pressure from some of coRe's spears here, but that knight still circling, still looking for targets. Second one on the way as well. Elyona keeping those scouts on that side of the map to see what is going on, and Baltoon gonna find a roost knight. Two of them on the gold mine. Not gonna get any damage there.
Good defense, had a knight chilling, and had a wooden fortress to do some extra damage. Forces that first knight of Baltoon's back, and not only forces it back, takes about half health off of it.
Yeah, and that really hurts the French. I mean, you're not gonna get chivalry for a while, and those half health, those lower health knights, basically out of the game for a bit. You don't want to be doing any TC dives with those. So either they join in with a friend and try to stay alive, or you keep them benched until you can heal them up.
Yep. Meanwhile, coRe playing the nice defensive safe game. I see so many people make spears and they think that's just enough. It's like you can't only make spears, you also have to cut off the location that the knights can circle and run to, make it difficult for them to, free roam the map. And the easiest way to do that, some nice short walls in between wood lines. Exactly what he's doing.
Yep. Cutting off that maneuverability, really key. And then those walls getting established, so one of the only places that the knights can be, filled with 5-6 spears. And you do see Baltoon starting to leave, taking those knights, trying to get around the spears, actually. Gonna lose a scout. That doesn't feel good.
Looks like Baltoon going ahead and dropping that blacksmith, wants to get the free melee tech that the French utilize. Meanwhile, Sass behind this slowly just been building up that archer count. Not only the archer count, also the scholar count.
Yeah, look at that. Got 7 scholars, 13 archers. Sass, no pressure on him right now. He's able to play how he wants. Starting to capture one of those sacred sites. Baltoon's early pressure with the knights, really taking any sort of pressure off of Sass. Can play on his own terms, basically. And we do see those archers creating a wall, walling off that sacred site, looking to defend it there.
Scouts proving to be annoying, denying the other sacred site capture. Boar is also going to be walled off, so nice, another additional denial there. Sass, what I just noticed is he has 3 scouts in queue. I'm pretty sure that means he is going to go with that pro scouts and potentially start trying to steal some deer from the other side, probably, on the side where coRe is pushing near the sacred site.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, coRe's all walled up there. There's a chance you could get those 2 deer right in front of the base. It just depends. coRe's unit moving his units out now, looking to disrupt that sacred capture. Spears and jugs descending in. Those knights forced to run away. That sacred site's not going to be captured.
And I just love the army controls by both teams. They're so just standoff. They know what fights they can and can't take. They know they can't overstep too far without knowing exactly where the other person's army is, or that could just lose them the game.
Absolutely. I think we've seen games decided today just by somebody being careless, losing maybe 4 or 5 units that they really shouldn't have, and that sort of spiraling into an eventual loss, just not having the army numbers, and the other team starts to run away with it. Delhi, though, continuing to mass archers in the middle of the map here. South of that, you do see a pack of roving knights potentially looking now to secure that sacred site.
Great scout control by coRe there, just constantly trying to have vision of that army, have control of that army. But all of a sudden, Baltoon, he's moving away with his knights, and Sass is building a wall and walling his units out of position, actually, where coRe's closing the gap, but Fast builds a gate. He's going to be able to get through if he wants. Oh,
We will see. Turns around, starts the engagement, but those archers caught in a tricky spot. Meanwhile, Baltoon engaging into the Roost Knights. Here's our first large engagement of the game. These Delhi archers looking to thin out the spear count, but both Baltoon and Sass on the retreat. Sass gonna lose another scholar here.
Yeah, Sacred Site Trickle, though, for Sass is going to provide him a ton of gold. Scholar counts up to 10. He's stopped producing them. So the question is he going to build up that gold for Castle Age, which is what it's starting to look like? Is he going to trade it off for more Feudal Age units? I'm thinking he's going to all of a sudden go Castle and get all of those techs in so fast because he has so many Scholars.
Yeah, it is such a power spike. You do see he's got 22 on food right now, 23. So likely gearing towards that Castle Age. He still has 8 on gold as well. We will likely see Castle Age coming in soon. coRe has got his units right outside that sacred site, right behind the wall. And the southern one getting decapped by Elyona Scout.
Knights just chilling now for Baltoon. Looks like he's going to make a Castle Age play too. They're both like, all right, we got enough units now. We took some all right trades. I think, they're like, we think we're in an all right position enough to just go get their upgrades through and then take the next big engagement, the next big fight.
Yeah, that seems like the play here. coRe as well, taking a look at his macro. Also potentially eyeing the Castle Age. House of Learning coming down for Sass. Baltoon not too far behind here.
The big problem for Team coRe Elio is that there's only 17 knights versus 21, and those knights are about to be an age up as well as having the numbers.
Yeah, and it's going up with the Royal Institute as well. So we see 15 still on gold. Gonna get those royal bloodlines as well, if possible. As soon as you get to Castle, that additional HP gonna make a big difference. coRe's got the Shaolin Monastery. He's full up on Zhug News right now.
Meanwhile, Sass is just getting all of those techs in for free, and he just needs a little bit of time. And then all of a sudden, he's gonna be there.
Yeah, he's feeling good. He's got those 12 scholars in there, making those techs go faster. We do see first elephant in production for Sass.
coRe
like
reaches Castle as well. Monks are moving. All these upgrades are coming through for everyone, but the question is when does the fight get taken?
Yeah, those archers, it felt like they were in the dark, marching their way towards a bunch of knights, but the knights moving around need to support coRe here against Baltoon's own knights. Do you see royal bloodlines on the way? So Baltoon waiting, delaying that engagement just a little bit. Want to get that tech in.
It's nice and slow. Front gold gets denied. It does look like Sass is going to maybe start moving out and getting relics with all the scholars he has. Now that some of the immediate necessary techs are coming through. It looks like he has one on the back scholar. I'm not sure though. Or back relic. I'm not sure though. It's ready and waiting. He's thinking about it. He is stealing some of the deer from the other side though, like we talked about earlier. And coRe... Yeah, coRe's mass needs to back away, kind of getting buggy next to that wall gap. Can't really get through too efficiently.
No room, yeah. They're trying to go through that one tile gap, which just, it's a crowd crush on the wall. Those knights able to take out those units and pass through pretty easily themselves. Now Elyona and coRe on the back foot here, pushing back into their base. Jukes turn around doing some damage, but the Knights just continue to run.
Castle Age finally comes through, but no upgrade is going to be through yet as it takes time. Night Mass just getting Royal Bloodlines.
Jukes outside that gate, able to run to safety. Couple more picked up, but now coRe Elo behind their own walls here on a very, very defensive stance. While Baltoon and Sass looking for an opening to get in there. Coming around the wood line now.
Trying the best they can. They're trying to pull something. One archer.
There we go. Not as fun as potentially pulling that elephant, but it worked. They got a unit. Monk still has the relic. Knights descending now into the roost base. Waiting for the engagement, waiting for coRe to catch up.
I feel like these are one of those points where now Baltoon's like, I am immortal with 29 Royal Bloodlines Knights. The only thing that can help against that's 18 spears, and he would wreck that in a fight regularly. So he's feeling pretty good. The Knights win the Knights pretty hard. There's an elephant even here to help out in the fight. Chooks aren't going to be doing too much damage even with upgrades. And so Baltoon and Sass look to again be taking a winning fight and a potential game deciding fight here as coRe doesn't even let the fight finish as it...
Oh, there it is. Thrown in the towel. Yeah, as soon as those Knights were able to break through the front line, that was it. Baltoon and Sass and the Oiling Boil, they are winning this one. 3-0.
I mean, again, I'm just going to say that is a testament to, you can tell Sass, Baltoon, they put in the work, they put in the practice. Baltoon been playing team games for quite a while. He's always been a team game player, even with, playing ones, as always enjoys it. So knows the meta and makes it look pretty easy at these timing attacks, knows when to pull the trigger and close the gap.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they played so well together. We'll take a look at the military graph right now. And I mean, it doesn't show value because Baltoon, that is all just Royal Knights there. coRe with a lot of Zhugs, but as soon as that last fight tipped into Oiling Boil's favor, that was it. That was GG.
Yeah, and even in those early fights, you can see on the graph where at first, red and blue, the both knights are fairly even with their knights. It's exactly how it kind of should be. And then there's all of a sudden this point that Baltoon just makes that break upwards, and like you said, he's going up to Castle Age, had like 7, 8 more knights at that point.
Yeah, and beat Roos to Castle by a good amount, able to get that Castle upgrade, able to get the Royal Bloodlines, have the beefiest knights around, and we're gonna see that crowd crush again. These poor poor Zhugs just cannot get out of there as the knights squish them against the palisade wall.
Yeah, that's one of those hindsight 2020 ones where he's like, I should have just run around the wall. He had so many spears, he could have torched that side panel once and broken it all. But it is what it is. Another fight starting to go down here, and this is again where the Knights just get to be the wrecking ball. They get to do whatever they want. They wait for the elephant to arrive to officially take the fight, but they know it's over from there with the upgrades they have, with the numbers they have, and
Army quality so much in Oiling Boil's favor at that point, and uh Elyona and coRe knew, like, after this, there's just no coming back. What do you do at that point?